Hello everybody, welcome to another day of Cosmoteer. Today what we're going to be looking at is in patch 0.3.0.1. There was a bunch of new things that came out. Now I know this patch has been out for some time now. It was released September 9th, and for some reason I was so engraved in doing a No Pause Admiral Engage, the build versions, that I totally missed that they had a brand new release. So in this release, they have a bunch of new ships. That's what I like to go ahead and showcase. So the first ship that we're going to look at here is a monolith ship, and it's called a Justicar. So let's pull up the Justicar and take a look at it. What I'm wondering is, do these new monolith ships, do they have any overclocking on them? One of the things, Alexandra Dragon 1, hi, welcome. So we can see right here, there is no overclocking on this particular ship. However, it's a chain gun and it's a two-piece ship. It only have one control, so it only has one control room on it. But still, it's a pretty neat ship for a chain gun. For a monolith build, it's not your normal average monolith build. It's got EMP missiles forward facing, it's got triple, 4 shields on each side. It's got the chain gun mechanic on it. I was wondering why we're running into different ships, and that's mainly because this new update. So this builded ship right here is actually pretty... I like the point defenses on it. I like the ammo storage. And I'm liking the chain gun mechanism on this. If only it had ability, and even has the layer stacking of the crew bunk, and then the actual missiles, not missiles, the ammo on it. It's a pretty neat ship. For a monolith build, I think this is a pretty neat ship if you will run into it. So it's a great new addition. They added even more for today. Was there a brand new update that I totally missed? Well, I'm glad that there'll be even more. Just one. Alright, we'll showcase those ones when they come out too. So the next ship that we have here in Monolith is called the Perfect Blue. This Perfect Blue. Is it a blue ship? Whoa, look at the deck cannon layering on that. What are all these new buttons? Oh, launch mines. Overload tractor beam. Target tractor beam. Alright. It's got mines. It's got deck cannons. It's got tractor beams. It's got a lot of reverse thrust, back thrust. It even has shields on the back helping to protect the actual back. Honestly, the building of these new ship designs really are really neat. And I don't even know why the AI is targeting the sides and not right down the middle. Like, why is it targeting? Because of the shields. The forward-facing shields. So for some reason, the AI is trying to target these double leg. Look at this layer stacking your shields too. This is a pretty neat ship. This is, oh, it's overclocked. It does, it has overclocked mechanic. It has overclocked tractor beams. So Monolith finally has some overclocked ships, and this is the first that I'm seeing of it. So it has overclocked tractor beams. Wow. I'm liking the fact that they're finally adding overclock to the other factions, and this is Monolith's one. This is a pretty neat one. Energy production on the sides. It's probably the large reactor here is what it's targeting. But look at that. Why is it not targeting down the middle? And because of the layer stacking the shields go back this way. I believe it's the large reactor, like you're thinking Alexander Dragon 1, as well as the shields. The shields are more forward facing, so the AI is trying to target. What is it trying to target? I'm trying to see what it is. It's trying to target... Yeah, see? It's trying to target the shield right here. See how it's trying to target the shield? The most forward-facing shield. So you can trick the AI too by having forward-facing shields like this on the sides. This is such an interesting design. This gives me different ideas. Okay, now I'm really curious. I'm really curious to see how this does versus some swarming here. Let's actually go pull up here. What does this do versus something like this? I stuck this in the wrong folder. So stick this here, 3 of these. We are just under the cost, 700,000 less. But I want to see what happens when you face 3 of these versus 1 of this. You see how the tractor beam's pulling him in, and then it has mines. But this was my biggest concern about this blue. Even though it has a shield, it doesn't have enough protection in the back, so the ammo storage right here is going to heat up the ammo, and those are going to go kaboom. So even though it's really, really cool in the front, it doesn't have a lot of protection in the back or the sides. You can see right here, once you rip up the ammo storage, is the HQ kaboom, just like that. But it's cool. It ripped up one of the ships. But for Perfect Blue, I'm liking the idea and what they're building here. This is a cool new ship to come out for Monolith, and it's the first one that I've seen that has at least some type of overclock on it, which is the overclock tractor beams. But you can see its biggest weakness is the back with all the everything else. But it has great frontal. So if you just have a single ship and you're trying to take on the ship one by one, the Perfect Blue is probably gonna do some devastating damage to you. Alright, the next ship we're gonna go into is we're gonna look at Cabal. They added 3 brand new Cabal ships. The first one is called a Delphinus. Alright, let's look at a Delphinus. Big ships, just like in reality, got beaten by swarms. It's true, big ships get beaten by swarms unless they're designed properly. So this is also overclocked. So you can see right here, there's overclocked heat weapons on this Cabal ship. Now I can see right here, there's a big problem. I don't know why there's not crew members in there, even though they have all these crew here. Probably because of heat. So they should fix the priorities on that. So whoever developed this ship, I wonder if they actually give the name. Ceres. Hello, Hoshel, welcome. So this ship right here, it's one of the first Cabal ships I've seen that has overclock. It has 2 overclock thermal resonant lances on top of it. What else does it have that's overclocked? I think it has at least 1. Okay, it has 2 overclock shields, the higher power ones, to help protect the ion beams. This right here I see is a constant problem. They don't have operators, so whoever designed this ship, I guess they didn't face it burst itself, because this is the first thing I would fix on an in-game ship. If there's fires, the guys managing the actual damage ion beam emitters, you can see right here, the constant cutout, shouldn't walk away just to cover the fires. So you have your other crew members that should be doing that. So if the developer ever watches this, whoever is watching this, or people who design ships, if you're gonna build heat weapons on your ship, make sure your operators are not walking away from your weapons, because if you're not doing damage, then you're gonna lose the fight. Just straight up. If your operators are walking away from it just because of fires, then you didn't design it right, especially when you have all these crew members here sitting doing absolutely nothing. Right? Cool design, neat ship, something somebody should fix if they're going to fix that. And the simple fix for those that are just watching or are brand new to it, you can see right here, he has operators, right? But your operators should not have fire extinguisher 10. Now this should be that, or at least this. They shouldn't be 10. Okay, so whoever designed this ship, which is an in-game ship, just change your operators, come over here, come to defense, change your fire extinguisher from 10 to 1 or nothing. Then that won't ever happen. Okay, simple fix. Anyways, go to the next ship. The next ship is going to be Lyra Major. Well, they have Lyra Major and a Lyra Minor. Okay, let's pull up a Lyra Major first. We'll pull the Lyra Minor next. So Lyra Major. I'm hoping this has overclocked. Oh, it's got overclocked railguns. That's why I was having troubles with some of the railgun Cabal ships. You can see right here, and they heated up big time. I wonder if it actually catches fire. Did they actually? So it. Maybe we need to face it versus something else. Lyra Minor. It's just a railgun ship. Okay, so here, let's pull in 2 or 3 Lyra Minors and see how this does. So we have 3 little Lyra Minor overclock railgun ships. Do you have to actually overclock the entire rail for it to function? Do you have to do this? Maybe somebody can answer that. But you can see 3 of these smaller guys and just 1 of this bigger guy with the protection with the overclocked bigger shields. And what I was wanting to concern is this Lyra Major, if all the railguns kept firing, if it actually had heat problems. But it took on all 3 of the smaller ones, so this is a pretty nasty ship to run into in the game. So Hoshel says only 1 connection can manage the heat, so you don't need to do this with what that thing just did, for whatever reason. Or maybe I don't know, with the new update, with this new patch build. But these are still pretty neat ships for Cabal to have overclocked heat guns. So now if you play the game and you run into these other factions, it's not just going to be the IO faction that has overclocked weapons. It's going to have, and even Imperium. Imperium got 2 brand new ships, and I'm going to guess that these ones also have overclock systems on them as well. So let's take a look at them. We have a Canary. The Canary has overclocked shields. The deck cannons are not overclocked, but it has a thermal resonance lance on it. That is nasty. I like this little paint design right here. It's got like a centaur on it. Wow, what a nasty ship to run into. I wouldn't want to face this at that level. 531? Look at that. Deck cannons are firing. Crazy, nice, fast. In the front of the ship, you got a thermal resonance lance. Now, obviously, because most in-game ships, PvE ships, they do not have protection in the back. But if you were to take this ship and modify it and fix its weaknesses in the back, fix this around the actual thrusters, and fix the back right here, this is such a deadly ship. And then instead of having ammo storage, you change this to ammo factory with sulfur, because that's far more capable. Look at that. I mean, really, 500, how much is this ship? 500 what? This is crazy. If I were to take some of the older ships, not overclocked, right, and I were to get something even close to the same price, and this is laser ship, this laser ship's not even gonna stand a chance, right? 538, 82 crew. I have only 50 crew, but still, the overclock system on this right here, look at the damage output this thing can do, and look at what damage it can do. It heats up your armor, blows it away with alternating fire deck cannons. It's got tons of shields, and because of the deck cannons, you got all this heat and piercing damage coming at you, and boom. And we didn't even break the shields. That's such a nasty level to run into for Imperium. Anyways, that's a cool ship. I actually kind of like the Canary. Let's go back to built-in ships. Let's go back to Imperium. That one deserves... it deserves a second look. This one deserves a look. We're going to save that ship design. We're going to put it under test number 3. We're going to stick it there. Alright, cool ship. I liked it. Let's go to the next one. We have a Nero, N-E-R-O. Nero, oh wait, we're supposed to be an Imperium. Built-in ships, Imperium, Combat, Nero. I'm gonna guess this is a nuke ship. Nuke with thermal resonance lance. Look at that. Not something you want to run into at 800,000. And not just one thermal resonance, 2 thermal resonance lances. Just wow. Nukes always had the biggest problem where maneuverability, right? So the main reason why this ship is next level hard is it doesn't just have nukes, it has thermal resonance lances. And one of the biggest things about thermal resonance lances is they can pivot. So when you take this and you try to take your advantage, and this is the advantage I'm trying to show, you take 2 of these ships, Normally you would have more, right? I already have a huge advantage of cost range. 152 crew, 130, 1,385. But you see right here, your ships are supposed to be able to fly around and maneuver around. But because the thermal resonance lands are there, even though this ship is going to pivot around in the back like this, well, I guess it doesn't have enough armor. But you can see it literally annihilated this ship, and with the thermal resonance lance pointing at you, it could do a lot of damage. Now, if you're just doing one ship and you're trying to face this, it's gonna be so painful. Exactly like you say, it looks very painful. That's gonna be a painful encounter. I don't play with nukes, but that's a painful encounter for sure. All right, the next couple ships that came in here is IO. And IO released 25 new ships. And I was actually noticing that when I was playing the game, as I was running into all these different ships, I was like, wait, why are these ships? I don't remember testing them. So we have 25 of these new different ships coming in here. This first one is Dawn. And just true to the IO faction has a ton of overclock systems. Now, they got the overclocked ion beams, he's got overclocked railguns on this, he's got overclocked engine rooms, and overclocked MRT. I don't remember if I ran into this ship when I was playing in-game or if we're gonna run into this, but this looks painful too. 2.4 or 2.5 million. It's even got a sensor array on it, so it's gonna find you before you find it. If you don't play with sensor arrays, like how I don't play with sensor arrays. This is a beautiful design, and it's got overclocked shields to cover its weakness in the back. Now, it doesn't cover all of its weaknesses, but it covers a large amount of its weakness right here. Normally you would just punch through right here or punch through right here, but that's covered, and it has a tiny bit of armor right there. And then it's got point defenses facing backwards. Someone finally took the idea, but point defenses facing backward on actual PvE in-game ships, so that's kind of neat. So I love that design. That's a really cool design. Not something I want to face, but I'm sure we'll run into it as we're playing the game. The next one is called the Akala. The Akala ship looks like a smaller ship, kind of almost 10 crew, almost the starter ones. I like the double overclocked. I don't even know if these are overclocked. Okay, they're not overclocked. It just has an overclocked shield on it. That's actually really nasty to run into at the very beginning of the game. This is basically an overclocked, like, I know everyone always does overclock weapons, but think of it. If you did an overclocked small shield like this, and it's got even a thermal battery on it, that can out-sustain a lot of things. You just put a disruptor on here too, and then you're good to go. This would be a great ship to take over in the very beginning. It even has a storage system too. Can you start the game with that? 78,000? I think 78,000 actually is a bit above what you normally would face. Yeah, 65. Actually, here, we'll pull on a ship that actually is the max. What is the max? Because that's the overclock system right here, 59. 59,000 with researching overclocked. This is not even a stand a chance, even with the overclocked, 3 overclocked lasers. And the main reason 59,000 is because you have to research overclocked systems. Maybe it will. Can it? Nope, the shields never went all the way down. It almost did. But even with 3 overclocked lasers, you run into this ship at the very beginning of the game, and you're gonna lose. Yeah, you're gonna lose, just like that. I love this idea in design. Somebody build something like this and see the thermal battery and never overheated. This is a great starter ship to start off with if you like to be a turtle shell. That's a turtle shell combat ship. Great, cool design. I like that. I like the idea that comes with that one. Okay, the next one is the Allo... What? ALLOCER. Okay, it's probably spelled wrong. Let me try to get it from outside the game. Oh, I'm looking at Imperium. It's IO. See, that's why. Alloser. 1010 Pecco ship. Yeah. Whoa! I've never seen a mid-game ship like this. Wow, that Lexi looks cool. I'm just looking at all the lasers and how they're firing. It just makes it look cool. This is a neat idea too. I like this idea. Just because it looks neat. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. A disco ship. But it's not just a disco ship. It actually is pretty effective. Wow. Now, it's having some energy problems here and there and other things, but it's kind of a burst ship. I like the design. It reminds me of a mixture of Cabal, like the crab-like ships, but a mixture of something else too, because it has all these other things. Obviously, whoever built the Cabal ships probably helped design this one, and or the original creator built it. I'm actually curious to see how the Alistair does versus a build. And I'm pretty sure it's going to rip it apart. But what I want to see is how much was it? It was about this price. Okay, my ship's still cheaper than this one. What I want to see is how does a diagonal facing ship face versus this, and how fast can it rip all this apart? It rips shields off really quickly, pounds through because of all the lasers firing. It's got disruptors on it, as you can see, and it's just pounding. This is an effective ship. This is not a ship you want to run into in a 1v1 scenario. Okay, this deserves another look at. I actually like this one. I love the concept on this. Now, this is what I would fix. You see all this power issue right here? It has great burst damage, but sustainability, you can see the sustainability on this ship just dropped off. A long sustained fight, and the ship no longer has power. So, I want to take this ship and I want to improve it. So, we're going to restart the battle. I'm just going to grab this ship so that I don't have a mixed up template. We're going to save that ship design. We're going to throw this under test number 3. I want to take another look at it. All right. Cool design. Let's come back over here to built-in ships number IO and combat. The next one ship we have in here is the Amalthea. Malathea. What am I looking at? It's a broadsider. It's a deadly broadsider. It's a broadsider orbiter. Oh, this is such a nasty ship. Holy cow. This is a ship you do not want to run into at 1 million. Even if you have more than one ship. This is not a ship to face easily. Even in a 2v1, this ship is still going to rip you. To do a lot of damage to you. Holy cow, this ship is going to... This is going to do a lot of damage to you, and I'm going to prove my point right here and show it. I bet you it will take 3 ships to beat this. Even if I were to pull in 2 of these guys. I am fairly certain... Yeah, the overclocked deck cannons. I am fairly certain that guaranteed one of these ships is gonna go kaboom. Should go kaboom. Unless it's just stupid and gets caught like it's getting caught right now. Okay, unfair advantage. Somehow these AI ships, well, I guess they have lots of maneuverability, but what should have happened is this ship should have kept orbiting, and then it should have It should have wrecked this ship. Here, we'll give it one more chance. And we'll do ×2 speed. Because we wanted to see what it actually is supposed to do and not what it's doing right now. Like, it's getting caught. Because this ship's catching it. Alright, well, I know my ships have a great maneuverability, and what should have happened, it didn't do. And as you can see, these ships are very effective. They got a great maneuverability, and they're attacking from behind. But still, not a ship you want to run into. Alright. That aside, let's go back into the game. I think it's a cool design, but it has its flaws, as you can see. Well, let's go to the next ship, which is the What? Spelling it wrong. Andromulus? Why does it sound like a movie? Andromeda? TV show, sorry. What am I looking at? That's got... Whoa! How come it's got such... How come the thermal resonance lances look so big? Look at the disruptors on this. He's got overclocked disruptors on this as well. Okay, at any stage of the game, you don't want to run into this. Yeah, you wouldn't want to run into... Okay, hold on. I need to test something else. There's this. I'm so curious. Test number 3. These are really cool ships. How does the simulator do versus that? Thunder Jeff, you're put to the test here. Actually, Thunder Jeff made a new model of this. Okay, the heat, although cool, if you have enough heat reduction and shields, you don't stand a chance. So, the simulator, Thunder Jeff's ship, and this is the old version. He sent me a new version. It's in our Discord channel. Thunder Jeff's ship, his newer version, is even more powerful. You can see right here, I wanted to play a whole game with like 2 or 3 of these things at the end game, because Thunder Jeff's simulator is just amazing. And he also gave me another one. And you know what? Here, we're gonna pull it in just to showcase once I find it. Here, give me a moment. Give me a moment. Where did he put it? He purposely gave it to me just recently. Okay, here it is. He gave me this one. And here's his newest simulator. Let's pull in the newest simulator too. The newest simulator. Both of these ships, beautiful design. We'll give it a quick pause and a quick look over. So you can see there's a railgun ship design on this, and he's got deck cannons on it as well. This is his other ship that's very much designed just like the simulator. Beautifully painted. Thunder Jeff, great job for doing this. And then there's the new assimilator. I don't even know what he changed it. I literally just pulled him in from Discord, from our community chat. But these are 2 beautiful ships designed by Thunder Jeff, and I really like them. Oh, he's even got chain guns on this thing. Chain guns, overclocked rail guns, and overclocked deck cannons. And the chain guns are overclocked. And you can see right here that this ship's even more powerful than the Ion. Oh, this is something I want to play with. So if you guys want to play with these ships or you're interested in it, it's on our community Discord. It's public facing already. Feel free to join the Discord channel and feel free to play with them. They are there right now. All right, we'll back to actually look at built-in ships, IO, combat. We are looking at... I don't know how to pronounce that. Catolibas? Ketobolapas? I'm pronouncing it wrong. Whoa, deck cannon salute. I like the little tit head. This almost looks like World of Tanks symbol. Or maybe I'm just imagining it wrong. Maybe someone from World of Tanks designed this? That wouldn't surprise me. I'm over here looking at too much at the World of Tanks symbol. It's even got thermal missiles on the back. And I'm loving the fact that in-game ships, PV ships, now have shield cover to cover their thrusters, engine rooms, whatever you want to call it. Even this back thrust right here, it's got great maneuverability for what it is. And that really looks like the World of Tanks symbol, so I wonder if the World of Tanks, that would be kind of funny. Saris? Okay, no. It'd be more funny if I saw World of Tanks built it. Okay, cool ship. Deadly ship. 1.2 million. Don't want to face it. But I'm sure we'll face it in the game, or maybe we run into it at some point. Alright, next ship. They added a ton of ships for the IO. Crocell. Oh. A lot of disruptors. A lot of overclock disruptors. Oh, I like how they mix this. Look at this. He's got 2 overclock disruptors and 1 non. 2 overclock disruptors and 1 non one. That's exactly what I was thinking when you're building your ships. Having just all overclock disruptors is not a good mix to peel off shields and everything. To me, this feels like a support ship though. This is a great support ship to have with another ship. You got the heat on it. You got the disruptors to peel off all sorts of things. You got the piercing disruptors on it as well. But this ship feels like it needs another ship with it. Like if you were to have the Crocell and you would also have the other ship that we were just playing just before. Like if you were to do this. Right? 2v2. That makes more sense. Support ship, damage ship. And I bet if the developers or people see this and you have this ship with a whole bunch of other combat ships together like that, guarding a space station or a pirate base, look at the deadliness that this does, right? See? Support ship, and this guy's supporting this ship. This guy's ripping off all the shields and everything else and tanking. And then this ship over here is coming in here and demolishing you from the side. This is a deadly combo to protect a space station. Anyways, that's just my 2 cents on that one. We'll go to the next one. I'm just trying to make the developer make the game harder. It makes it more fun, at least for me. Not for everybody, but for me it is. All right, this is a cool ship, 165. This is like a beginning game that you would run into. 2 overclock shields with a disruptor, overclock disruptor, and overclock. That's a cool concept. This deserves a work, like a save work, like take it and rework it. I like it. I like it enough to save it. We're gonna save that one. We're gonna look at it later. Cool ship, I like it. Alright, the next ship that we have on our list from IO, close this up, built-in workshops, IO combat, is we have a Dantillion. Dantillion. Okay, I really wish they were gonna do whatever they're gonna do with flat cannons, because once you have overclocked flat cannons like this, see that? They don't stand a chance versus each other. They're just gonna throw missiles at each other. But it's got heat missiles in the back. It's got missiles on the side. It's got flat cannons on the front. This is a good one to test something else on. Let's go here and let's take in shell ship. Wherever we put it. So this one's got flat cannons on it, where this one doesn't have any flat cannons on it. But the only thing that's, I think, the downside with this particular build, that whole shell build, is we have no way to rip off the shields. Oh, see? I knew it. That's what I was expecting. So it has some weak points right here, even though the flat cannons are cool. And I don't know why this ship is facing this way like that. It's the AI thinking. Why is it flying that way? Why is it facing that way? It makes no sense to me. Right? Why? Your shields are this way. Anyway, I really hope the developer or some people fix this, because if your ship flies this way, why are you angled this way to face it like this? I had the same thing in game too. Cool ship. Alright, let's go to the next one. The next one that we have on the list is going to be attack default issues. Yeah, even Hoshield's noticing. It's weird. I don't like it when the AI does that. Donar. This is a mini flat cannon. Is it overclocked? It's overclocked. Wait, how is it gonna oh, it has a heat right here. It has a radiator. This is a cool support ship. What happens if you were to take a whole bunch of these guys? And you were to go and do something like Cabal's combat. I don't know, I'm over here thinking all these different ideas, looking at these ships. What happens when you take a whole bunch of Donars with these? And I know there's only 4, I'll probably put like 10 in here. How does this work? Can it work as a support ship? No, they're not. They just don't have enough on them. Yeah, Polaris is so apart. I was over here just thinking in my head. But they just don't have enough protection. But I mean, if you swarmed a whole bunch of those flat cannons, right, and did something with it, it would be kind of interesting. All right, the next one is the Ineo. Flat cannons, ion beam. 3 thermal resonance lances on it. 3 thermal resonance lances on it. Overclocked ion. Okay, what is this? How come this is having power issues? Do you have crew members not doing anything? We have some blue crew members over here not doing anything. We got some white crew members over there. He's having power issues. Okay, whoever built this ship, I think they should have tested it a little bit more. Yeah, he's having power issues for the here. Anyway, this is... That aside, it's still a cool ship to run into and face. 3 thermal resonance lances, overclocked ion beams, overclocked black cannons. In a 1v1 facing this, you're gonna have problems. Hands down, in a front-to-front facing battle, this ship is gonna give you problems. Like a lot of problems. 1.8 million. Yeah, that's gonna give you some problems. All right. Next ship that we have over here is, looks like a more starter ship. This is what is this? EOB? Ooh. Wait, crew member not sitting there. Crew member not sitting there. Is it just an overclocked reactor? Clearly, it has a very big weakness, and maybe you've all saw it or not. You have this armor and you have this. Once you lose one of the lasers, they can access the rest of the lasers. If I were to take the ship and modify it, I would move everything up 1 row and put a walkway in the back. I know it needs the armor to protect it more, but you can see right here, because of the way the AI did it, it took off both these lasers first. You lose this laser, and you lose this laser, you lose this laser first, and then the rest of the lasers are like, gone. Anyways. Design flaws. Still a cool concept. Gramarye, missile boat. Interesting concept with the thrusters like this. Huh. Okay, so the first targets they're targeting are the engine rooms and the shields back here. I would use the same AI flaw that it had and take the shields and put them somewhere up. Right? Because the other ship that we took with the wavy, the monolith ship with the shields in the front, the AI is going to target the shields in the front, which is a flaw for the AI, but it's great for PvE. This is an interesting missile boat, but to me, it's just another missile boat with a lot of protection. But the concept's cool. I like that you only have to have one missile factory. You can see how fast it's producing. It's just one missile factory for all these missiles now. So you change the way the missile factory layering is. Cool idea. Cool idea. Okay, this next one is totally a name I cannot pronounce. It's a little lazy. I guess it's called lazy. What a bunch of crew is for in the back. I have no idea on that ship. I'm not the one to design them. But that's a great question, really, Brent. This is an overclocked ion beam starter. All it needs is a shield. All it needs is a shield and a disruptor. Yeah, take this ship right here and give it a shield and a disruptor, and this is a great ship to take over and build from. This would be a ship that I would like to test and start a brand new game on. So I know everyone's asking me to use different weapons, and it's just going to require different playthroughs in my mindset to actually test them on, because you got to go through the lower levels, mid levels, and high levels. Now, ion beams, this would be, if someone helps me design something like this with an overclocked ion beam in the starter, somehow, that can actually survive the starting at Grand Ammo, that would be cool. So this is the concept that I would like to either go with that, or if someone asked me to do cannons, we'll save that one. I don't know if we're ever going to actually build it, because it costs so much to do that. You got to do overclocking, and then you got to build everything out from it. Still, the idea and the concept are there. IO, combat. Masubi. Wait. It's not Musubi, is it? Spam Musubi. Masubi. What's a Masubi? Overclocked large cannon. Oh, I forgot that overclocked large cannons do that. Shrapnel damage. That actually might be more fun than doing the ion beams, is do a whole bunch of overclocked large cannons and just watch all the shrapnel pull things apart. The downside about overclocked large cannons is they have to be on the outside of the ship. They're a lot harder to protect, as you can see, and they require ammo, which is explosive. So that will be the biggest, hardest challenge to do projectiles with large cannons and small cannons if you're trying to put them on the outside, especially on Grand Ammo. Grand Ammo, all the enemies do 40% more damage to you, and you do 30% less damage to everything. It makes it very, very hard. Because you got to build enough protection, and then you got to risk losing them, and then they explode, and then you lose crew members. So it's a very risky thing to do with large cannons. You got crew members, you got explosions happening on the inside, they're very hard to protect, and they require ammo, so you got to manage resources. So there's a lot of things you got to manage with projectile weapons. Okay, we saw this ship. Or I feel like we saw this ship. Or a version of this ship when we were playing. I might have even captured the ship at the beginning of when we were playing that playthrough. That's what I changed my transport ship into, but I feel like this was the ship. Or a version of it. Cool starter. You got... That's not overclocked. That's not overclocked either. What is overclocked on this? Just the thrusters? That doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, this is a different version, but okay, you have overclock reverse thrusters. So this ship is a tanky kite So it's not a damage dealer, it's a kiter. So if you were to take a beginning ship right here, yeah, only the side thrusters are overclocked, which means that if you were to try to come over here and you were trying to take standard thrusters, this ship's gonna outrun you. Or it can, but this thing doesn't have enough range. It would make more sense to do this with like an ion beam or something that has more range. So if you're facing lasers versus lasers, it's just a really fast ship backwards. I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. Interesting concept, but doesn't make any sense because it will go out of range, but if you have lasers, it's going to be the same range. All right, we got a realm. What is a realm? Realm. Oh, work against cannon ships. Okay, Hoshell is a good point. It will work against cannon ships. I didn't think of that, since I don't play with cannon ships that often at the start of the game. Deck cannon with thermal resonance lens. This seems like a square version of the diagonal one I was making. It's German. I guess it means space. Realm. Very interesting. I like my diagonal one better though. Cool. What is it? Sobo? Sobo. Sobo. It's a Sobo. Huh. Is at least this overclocked? Okay, we got an overclock laser on it. And overclock reverse thrusters. Wouldn't those overheat? Huh. Interesting concept. So, I like it. Okay, next one, Sparagamos. Sparagamos? I don't know how to pronounce that. Whoa. Oh, and then thermal resonance lenses in the back. Energy problems. Energy problems here. Not enough reactor power. The front looks good though. Two isolated parts. Yeah, they're completely separated. And it's kind of cool. It's got tons of weaknesses if you were to flank it. But in a front-to-front facing, how much was this? 2.5 million? 2.5 million. 2.5 million. 2.5 million. I already know that Thunder Jeff's ship would just rip it apart. But what I want to see is would this... How does this do versus this? I don't think it has enough damage with the thermal resonance lances and the ion beams. I don't think it has enough. Or maybe it does. Let's see what it does. With the thermal resonance lances pointing at it, and you can see the mine lasers are just going to rip through here. But what I'm concerned is it does. Okay, so see how it's ripping off all the shields and everything? This is effectively does enough damage. And then once you get past this huge armor layer in the front front facing, then you have these shields, and now the shields are overheating because we were doing tons of damage. But see, look at that. It ripped it apart in the front to front facing. It did what I was expecting. We still lost some shields over here. But if you were to face this in a 1v1 and a front to front facing, this does a lot of damage. That's cool. Alright, the next ship that we have in our list is a built-in ship, and we have IO combat, and we have a... Can't pronounce it. The Misto. The Misto. The Misto. Is it the Misto? Is this overclocked? Is this overclocked? Ooh. Are the shields enough? The shields are definitely not enough. But it even has overclock reverse thrust How fast is it going backwards? It's going 84 backwards. 85 forward, and it's not even using all of its thrust. This reminds me of, and I don't even know if I saved it. Well, I know I saved it, I just don't remember where I put it. Where'd I put it? Maybe test 2? Maybe, no, I don't remember where I put it. So there's a ship that somebody built, which was a cool little ion kiter, and I can't think of where it is. Still, this is a neat ship to run into, and that's going to cause you lots of problems if you were to run into that, because it can kite you backwards and it can go fast, especially with the overclock heavy thrusters. So large thrusters, not huge thrusters, but large thrusters. All right, the next one we have on here is Tiresias. 4 thermal resonance lances, chain guns on it. Are the chain guns overclocked? They are. Wait, how are they? How is it reducing heat? Chain guns are overclocked, but where's the heat reduction? How? Can anybody explain that to me? How are the chain guns not have heat on them? They're overclocked. I can see they're overclocked. But what's pulling the heat from the chain guns? Is it because it's attached to the thermal resonance lance? The thermal resonance lance is pulling the heat from it? So it's connected to the heat lance. So if it's connected to the heat lance like this, it can pull heat from the thermal resonance lance? That opens up whole different ideas. Huh. Interesting. Can I connect other things to thermal resonance lances that also draw heat? Can I connect my deck cannons to the thermal resonance lance? And will it draw heat from the deck cannons? Has anybody tried that? Ah, I can. Alright. That opens a whole new build. So, cool. I learned something new today. Interesting ship. It has its weaknesses. I can see in the back and stuff. I know it's covered by shields, but if you're going to face a ship this big, you're going to have enough to rip off just 2 wide range shields as you get in the back. Yeah, lances are part of the heat pipe system. Really cool, interesting idea. But at that level 2 million, it felt like it has a lot of weaknesses. On the sides and the back. In the front facing, obviously, you can see it rips you apart. Now here's an interesting one with overclocked large shield, overclocked laser, overclocked disruptors. Huh. And only a small overclocked reactor and overclocked. What an interesting concept. At 230,000? This is actually a pretty interesting. Yeah, a lot of radiators, a lot of batteries. But the main reason why is these guys give. They have a problem. This should be to this, and then this should be pulling from this to help to that. Or maybe it's supposed to be. I don't know. I'm making things up. I guess it works. Interesting. Very expensive if you were trying to build it. Even though it says 230,000, it's actually way more because there's overclocked small reactor research, this research, overclocked shields research. Like, you wouldn't be able to spend 230,000 in the actual game. It actually costs so much more to research all that. Still interesting. Low-level ship. If you were to run into it again. I wonder if the AI takes that into account, all the credits it takes to research all that, and if you face that in the game. Because if you were to face these type of things in game, right, you have to overclock this. Even though it's only that price, it's actually a lot more expensive. Because if you research overclock small thrusters, right, research lasers, The price is not that price. The price is a lot more. That's a cool, interesting, small little ship. All right, we got a UTA. Ooh. Overclock. Point defense systems. All right, here. You need a fair fight. You need to face. Oh, where did I put it? This one. It's not a fair fight. Obviously, this other one's gonna beat it. But what I want to see is these 4-point defenses versus this. I'm waiting for somebody in the actual game to build something like that. Right? Yeah, make something like this and then face it versus... This would be a neat concept to put in the game. Right? And face it versus yourself? I don't know. I'm not making stuff up. Okay. Cool little ship. Uta. However you pronounce it. It's orc. Uktak. Okay. Zebus. Reactor fuel station. That would be cool. Reactor fuel station. Alright, so we have a Zebus. It's got deck cannon. It's got a thermal resonance lance. We got some overclock. You know, I like this idea. Instead of connecting it to an engine room, just connect it right to your system. Now you don't need an engine room. You don't need to do the 2 crew members for the engine rooms, and you still have overclocked huge thrusters. Now, is there no forward-facing shields on this thing? Which is a huge block of armor. And a front-to-front facing? If you don't have enough power to rip through all this armor, it has enough side thrust to keep you over in its front. So if you're doing a 1v1, and you see how fast it can turn, this ship could give you some problem. It doesn't have any reverse thrust though. So yeah, if you have a fast ship, you can swing around and probably do some good damage. 670. That is a cool ship. Alright, that is the last of the ships that came out. Some of the few updates, I'm going to read them off here. They increased the chain gun turret rotation speed from 50 to 100. They also increased ion beam prism rotation speed from 20 to 60, so it's faster rotating. They increased the crew can carry 2 HE, EMP, and TNC missiles parts instead of just 1. So that's a cool new change as well. And I'm just going to pull on one of their ship to test this versus this one. Not test, sorry, build 2025. We'll just throw in this one right here. We'll test this right here. Just want to see that. And then they just did a bunch of other balances and other things as well. But I like all of the new things that came in. So if you enjoyed this content, please feel free to hit the like button. Helps me out a ton. Helps to push out this content to other people, bring awareness to it. If you like, please feel free to leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like, especially what you don't like, so that I can improve and make better content. If you have not already, please feel free to subscribe. If you don't want to subscribe, that's okay as well. Come back once a week, once a month, check out what content I have. Thank you all for being here, thank you all for watching, and you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And you're welcome for the stream, Alexander Dragon 1. Thank you for commenting, thank you for being here, and we'll see you all in the next one.